Welcome back to Mystery and Murder, where we pull back the curtain on headline-making cases and the perpetrators behind them. We strive to step into the darkest corners of the human mind. What compels certain humans to do the unthinkable, and how do these cases unfold? The truth is often more chilling than fiction. Click to follow and subscribe to get this weekly on all podcast players and on YouTube. And I want to thank everyone that has been doing just that, because since we have relaunched Mystery and Murder, Analysis by Dr. Phil, the response has been overwhelming. So thank all of you that have clicked on subscribe and are following, because I am really trying to give you guys a look at what goes on in the minds of these perpetrators, to really give some insight into why they do what they do. Sometimes it's chilling, I understand, but hopefully it gives you some information that you cannot get anywhere else. Now today we're diving in to one of the most disturbing stories in recent American history. This mystery haunted families, stumped investigators, and left a string of bodies scattered across a stretch of Long Island shoreline. As of April 2025, the Gilgo Beach serial killings encompass at least 11 known victims, with some sources suggesting the total could be higher. I believe it's probably much higher. Most of these discovered victims are women whose society just forgot about. Their bodies discarded along the edge of civilization, their names seemingly carried away by ocean winds. For over a decade, the now alleged killer of at least 7 of these victims walked free. Allegedly, he lived a true double life. He went to work, raised a family, and simultaneously, if the accusations are true, he acted upon some of the darkest impulses the human mind can conjure. You have to understand, these were not random acts of violence done in secret. These were predatory, calculated murders carried out by someone authorities considered to be a meticulous and deadly predator. This isn't just a question of who did it. The other significant question is why. What goes on in the mind of someone who lives like a modern-day Jekyll and Hyde? As of now, the man accused of some of these monstrous crimes sits behind bars awaiting trial. And we're about to dig into all of it. Our story takes us to Gilgo Beach, situated along the southern edge of Long Island. Now, Gilgo Beach is part of the town of Babylon, a name that already sounds like something out of a James Patterson thriller. On the surface, it's the kind of place folks go to unwind. There are dunes, shimmering water, and long stretches of sand to roam. A true summertime haven. But for years, visitors could not imagine that as they lounged on the beach, just sitting in their chairs, their kids playing in the surf, they were actually sitting on, vacationing on, walking on a mass gravesite. It all started to unravel with a phone call. On the night of May 1st, 2010, 23-year-old Shannan Gilbert, an escort working on Oak Beach, Long Island, dialed 911. During that call, she told the dispatcher that she thought someone was trying to kill her. Moments later, witnesses saw her running through the neighborhood, banging on doors, desperate for help, only to quickly disappear into the darkness, gone without a trace. Not one, but 3 separate calls were made to 911 regarding Shannon Gilbert that night, back in May of 2010. I want you to listen to an excerpt of Shannon's call. I say excerpt because she was on with 911 for over 20 minutes.
Hello? Hello? Hello, you dialed into the 911 system. How can I assist you? Hello?
Yeah.
Do you need the police?
Yeah.
Where?
Passport.
Where? Who's there with you? What's going on?
Oh, there's somebody after me.
What?
Somebody after me.
Somebody is harassing you?
After me.
Who?
Can you trace where I am?
Driver's house there. Driver's right there.
Let me talk to him.
Can you trace where I am?
Let me talk to him.
I'm at the Jones Beach.
You're at Jones Beach?
By the Jones Beach.
All right, let me connect you to state police. Stay on the line.
Why?
You got to talk louder to them.
Why? Why?
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why you call me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please. Can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
Go that way, please. Come on, let's go. Come on, roll that side. Come on, go outside.
Why? Why?
County, are you on the line?
Hurry up, I want to show you something.
Why?
I want to show you this. Please come on. Please.
Why? Why are you guys doing this to me?
What?
Doing this.
What county are you in, ma'am?
Doing this.
Hang up.
Why are you calling me by my name? Please.
Please, give me here.
No, please.
Give me here.
No.
Please.
No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please, stop it. Please, stop it. No, please. Stop it.
I think it's Suffolk County on the left side for the Suffolk County Manhattan.
Police? Why are you going to...
631. She needs help.
You're like, I'm going to find my way home.
There's a child in the house with the female. And the female was the initial caller.
Why?
I don't know. Why are you doing that?
Hello? Hello?
Please.
What's the matter? What happened? Hello?
You were part of this all along.
Oh, I can manage it now. I called you after. I called his number.
Mike. Mike, please. I'm begging you. Mike.
573-9308.
Is that us?
What's going on?
I think so.
What? Yeah.
Extension answering. That's the number it came in.
Why are you sitting there knocking about this house then? Something's gonna happen to me.
There's nobody outside.
Yeah, you could call it,
You'll see, right?
but we're not going to know where it is. County should call it.
Every time County 911 checks for something over.
Okay.
511 thing.
Get out of here. What's in the phone?
Oh, it does? What, Suffolk? It's got to be Suffolk, right? What's your name?
Where's the bathroom?
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Where are you?
I'm in Long Island.
And Mike's there. Some kind of
And what's wrong?
Huh?
What happened?
These people are plotting to kill me.
Where are you? What's your address? What's your address? What's your address?
No, Mike, stop, Mike, here. Mike, stop. Mike, stop, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where are you?
Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
What's your name, Shannon?
Huh? Mike, stop.
What?
Come here.
Where are you? What's your address?
Yeah, hold on, and then I know you can only choose the address.
What are we going to tell them?
Tell them something. Mike, stop it. You guys are planning something. Mike.
Where are you?
Mike.
We're fine, then why are we all...
Are you in the house?
Yeah. Mike, stop it.
What town are you in?
In Long Island. Mike, it's...
Where?
Stop, Mike.
Where in Long Island?
Stop it, Mike.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know. They're going to kill me.
Are you in a house? Are you in a house?
Yeah.
Whose house is it?
I don't know.
Who is Mike? What's his last name?
Now, let's talk about some key takeaways from those calls as I listen to them. Coming up, they get this 22-minute 911 call saying, help me, help me, help me. Then 2 days later, this woman calls and says, my daughter's gone missing from 2 nights ago. They don't even connect the two. You've heard me say it before. Real change starts with real understanding, and that's why I've had Dr. Daniel Amen on my show many times over the years. At Amen Clinics, they do something different. They look at your brain. With nearly 300,000 brain scans from patients in over 155 countries, they take the guesswork out of mental health care. Anxiety, depression, trauma, memory issues. If you're struggling, it's time for answers. Call 866-580-6569 or go to amenclinics.com/Dr. Phil and take the first step. Call 866-580-6569 or go to amenclinics.com/Dr. Phil. Now, let's talk about some key takeaways from those calls as I listened to them. First off, she called at 4:51 a.m. She spent, as I say, 22 minutes on the phone with 911. And during that 911 call, 2 male voices could be heard in the background. And we do know who they were. They were Joseph Brewer, the client Shannon had met that night at his home in Oak Beach, and Michael Pack, her driver, who had brought her to Brewer's residence. And we'll talk more about them later. Clearly, you can hear she expresses deep distrust toward both her client and her driver. At one point, she questioned her driver, Michael, asking, quote, "Are you going to kill me?" To which he responded, and I quote, "No, it's me, Mike," clearly attempting to reassure her. Later, Shannon accused him, saying, quote, "You are part of this all along." But then she also pleaded with him, saying, "Please get me out of here, Mike." Her voice fluctuated between calm and panic, and at times she was screaming or unresponsive. Background noises included a man's voice, heavy breathing, and banging sounds, possibly from doors or windows. Now, despite relentless efforts from dispatchers, Shannon did not give her location. Maybe she didn't know it off the top of her head, and instead she asked if the call could be traced. I don't think she was hiding the address, because I think she was terribly desperate at that point. I just don't think she could recite it off the top of her head. Sadly, the call ended without authorities being able to locate her. Within the hour, 2 neighbors also contacted 911. A man called Gus Coletti reported that a distressed young woman knocked on his door claiming she was in danger. She ran off before police could get there. Another neighbor, a woman called Barbara Brennan, also said she received a knock, but she has an elderly mother, and she was just afraid to open the door. So she didn't. She called 911. She wasn't being unresponsive. She was just being careful. She said that a woman was banging on her door, Shannon, claiming to be in danger. So Shannon Gilbert vanishes that spring night, just disappears. Her mother, Mary Gilbert, soon knew something was wrong when Shannon failed to return home or even call, make any kind of contact. On May 3rd, 2010, 2 days after Shannon had last been seen or heard from, Mary, sick with worry, filed a missing persons report with the Suffolk County Police Department. Now, look, the police initially downplayed Shannon Gilbert's disappearance, speculating that she may have left voluntarily or was simply having a, quote, rough night, possibly due to the fact that she was an escort, and frankly, they didn't take it very seriously. They did not even connect the 911 call with Shannon's disappearance until about a month later. Now, think about that for a minute. They get this 22-minute 911 call saying, "Help me, help me, help me." Then 2 days later, this woman calls and says, "My daughter's gone missing from 2 nights ago," and they don't even connect the two. That seems incredibly impossible, but different shifts, different people working, they aren't necessarily communicating. She wasn't considered in danger, and no immediate large-scale search was conducted. Now, this was an oversight that later drew widespread criticism. We'll talk about how that figures into this overall happening. Mary Gilbert, to her credit, she's a true heroine in this story, if you ask me. She did not let up. She kept the pressure on the police force, urging them to look for her missing daughter. From May through November 2010, police searched the marshland and brush around Oak Beach, looking for Shannon. They eventually got in gear, and they looked, but they found nothing. Of course, the men Shannon was last with were contacted. They were questioned. Joseph Brewer, the John, who hired Shannon Gilbert through a Craigslist ad, claimed that on the night in question, Shannon had been acting erratically, prompting him to call her driver, Michael Pack, for help. Brewer claimed she left voluntarily, Both he and Michael Pack were questioned, reportedly passed polygraphs, and were not charged. Though they were among the last to see Shannon alive, neither was formally implicated nor charged in her disappearance. Coming up, for months the case seemed hopeless. But then winter came, and the investigation took a shocking turn no one saw coming. Homeowners, when's the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is the target. Criminals forge your signature, and just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Phil at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you'll get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code Phil. For months, the case seemed hopeless. But then winter came, and the investigation took a shocking turn no one saw coming. December 11th, 2010, Officer John Malia and his cadaver dog Blue were out along Ocean Parkway on another search for Shannan Gilbert. It didn't seem like the ideal day to find remains. It was windy, the beach was covered in snow, and the brush was thick. But then, all of a sudden, Blue the dog stopped, locked in. Something was there. He smelled something. What Blue helped unearth wasn't a lost hiker or an old animal bone. It was a body. A body wrapped in burlap, left to decompose in the cold. And that body tragically was a woman. However, the deceased woman was not Shannon. Later identified as missing person, Melissa Barthélemy. This discovery marked a massive twist in the investigation. And as police returned to the scene over the next few days, they found more burlap, more bodies. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, 4 women total, all discarded like garbage off a quiet stretch of road. And just like that, these women become known as the Gilgo Four. These women were savagely murdered. What started as a search for one missing woman, Shannan Gilbert, had uncovered something far darker. A serial killer was likely at large. Now let's take a closer look at the names and key details of the women whose lives were tragically cut short and were found on the beach that day in 2010. Note that as of now, there's no public evidence confirming that any of the Gilgo Four were sexually assaulted, though some were found bound. Authorities have not released specific details on that front. Melissa Barthélemy, age 24. She had moved to the Bronx to pursue a career in cosmetology and took on work as an escort to support herself. She disappeared after going to meet a client on July 12, 2009. Hers was the first body discovered in a burlap sack that day on Gilgo Beach. Cause of death? Strangulation. An eerie note on Melissa: in the weeks following Melissa's disappearance, police confirmed that her then 15-year-old sister, Amanda, received a series of phone calls from an anonymous man. The first of these calls came on July 17th, 2009. A number of calls followed in the coming weeks, and these were frightening and vulgar in content. On one call, the man told Amanda he had killed Melissa. On another occasion, the unidentified caller asked if Amanda, quote, was a whore like her sister. More on the alleged identity of that caller later. Regardless, it's telling this is a perp who gets a twisted thrill from inflicting fear on others. Acting as the puppet master feeds his ego. In his mind, he's the kingpin. It's not enough to inflict pain on his victim. It's not enough to take their life. This guy wants to take his power to harm even further by tormenting a family member. The other victims? Maureen Brainerd Barnes, age 25. Her family described her as being loving and artistic. A mother of two from Connecticut who fell on hard times. Only 4 feet tall and 105 pounds, facing eviction, she turned to sex work to try to get back on her feet. She was last seen July 9th, 2007 in New York City. She's believed to have died from asphyxiation or strangulation. Megan Waterman, age 22, a mother from Maine. She was last seen leaving a Holiday Inn Express, where she had been staying while working as an escort. She was last seen on June 6, 2010. She was found bound with duct tape, also believed to have been strangled. Amberlynn Costello, age 27, disappeared after leaving to meet a client who had previously threatened her. Last seen September 2nd, 2010, West Babylon, New York. Remember Amberlynn. Her roommate provided evidence to police that will come into play later. Her cause of death? Yeah, strangulation. So 4 female corpses were found on that beach within a quarter of a mile of each other. Of course, as soon as this news broke, the media went into a frenzy, leaving the Long Island community feeling fearful and shattered. But the headlines did not stop there. This case went nationwide, with comparisons being drawn to the Green River Killer and Jack the Ripper. Before this, Gilgo Beach just wasn't a place known for scattered bodies. This was suburbia, after all, a place with quiet neighborhoods, soccer games, PTA meetings. But now, a predator was on the loose. And the fear was that he was hiding in plain sight. National outlets flew in, reporters camped out. The public needed to know who was hunting these women. Who would possibly be next? Law enforcement was clearly behind the curve and scrambling to catch up. Multiple jurisdictions were involved, each with its own priorities, old grudges, and limited cooperation. And this created a very fragmented investigation, and none of them had solid leads. Meanwhile, criminal profilers began to build a psychological portrait of a killer they had yet to find, attempting to piece together the shadowy figure. Coming up, when this person was getting on Craigslist, when they were making this appointment, when they were booking this individual, they knew they were going to kill him. I've seen it all, from folks stuck in toxic relationships to people whose houses look like a tornado went through a craft store. But there's one problem I see plaguing America, and it ain't on the couch. It is the couch. Hideline offers customizable leather options so you can pick the color that fits your style. They've got specialized hybrid foam and pocketed coil cushion systems to help you sit comfortably for hours. For a limited time, you can get 10% off store-wide and free shipping with code Dr. Phil 10 at hideline.com. Now, because tragically these kinds of things have happened many times in the history of our country, it is possible to put together the profile of who tends to do these things. And profilers agreed that this was likely a white male between the ages of 25 and 45 at the time the murders occurred. They believed that this was a highly intelligent person that was very methodical because it showed careful planning in victim selection, disposal, and avoiding detection. Someone likely familiar with law enforcement tactics or having forensic awareness. Why? Because there was no DNA or trace evidence left behind. Somebody was taking great care to not leave behind any telltale signs. It was someone comfortable operating at night and in remote dark terrain like Gilgo Beach, so they may have had access to or knowledge of the area and the terrain, and maybe some familiarity with burlap sacks used to wrap the victims, which meant maybe they were working in landscape or hunting or maritime, something where this kind of material would be accessible. They were believed to be a local resident or someone very familiar with Long Island, especially the Ocean Parkway area. Why? Because multiple killings suggested that a stranger showing up might have been detected. Somebody might have said something or seen something, but if it's somebody that's in the normal flow of things, they could hide in plain sight. They likely had a job and maintained a normal outward appearance, maybe married, maybe children, maybe employed in a respectable profession so they could blend in. This type of individual possibly displays control issues, narcissism, antisocial traits consistent with psychopathy, thought to have a history of soliciting sex workers, or at least knowing the mechanism or the patterns to do so, where to call, what to do, how to connect. It might be somebody with a pattern of escalating violence or deviant sexual preferences, and someone that may have kept souvenirs or mementos from their victims. They believe he may have stopped killing for a while, indicating the ability to compartmentalize his life or adapt under pressure. So take all that in as a whole, and you're dealing with somebody that's believed to be smart and methodical and psychopathic in that they don't show remorse and can be very charming. The most devious killers are often the ones who can smile in your face by day, being charming and engaging, or utterly forgettable. Little do you know they're sharpening the knife they'll stick in your back by night. And that's exactly what made this case so chilling. Police weren't just tracking a killer, they were hunting a man who knew how to blend in. And yet, when it came to his murderous methodology, he definitely had a distinct pattern. Now, was that pattern unique? Maybe not so much. We're not talking about someone that lost control in moments of rage. We're talking about someone who was very controlled. They enjoyed it. They thrived on having power. He plotted, he planned, he selected women online to meet like he was flipping pages in a catalog. And think about this. You really have to be willing to travel along the continuum of human behavior to really appreciate what you're dealing with here. And while I know this isn't something you want to think about, if you're going to really understand who you're dealing with, you have to do that. Think about this. When this person was getting on Craigslist, when they were making this appointment, when they were booking this individual, they knew they were going to kill him. If they were texting with him or talking to them on the phone, and they were being charming or pleasant or businesslike, they knew they were talking to someone they were going to torture and kill. And they were able to do it like ordering lunch. That's a special kind of evil. And the fact that this perp allegedly avoided detection for years suggests someone with an advanced understanding of how investigators work. That part's not common. That's not lucky. That's skillful. He went after the same type victim. These were young women, petite in frame, and working in the sex industry. They were advertising online through sites like Craigslist, which meant their clients were anonymous and untraceable. And let's face it, the truth is sex workers are among the most vulnerable people in our society. According to a study published in the Journal of Forensic Sciences using the data from the National Violent Death Reporting System, the study found that 94% of female victims were sex workers. 94%. And over half of their suspected killers were clients. It is a dangerous, dangerous profession. And these crimes can go unreported or barely investigated because these women are often stigmatized, criminalized, and just too often ignored. The women in this particular case all disappeared under similar circumstances. And their remains were found wrapped in burlap on the same remote stretch of beach. Their cases didn't make the front page when they went missing. Had you heard of any of them? Were these in the headlines? These didn't make national news. These were just hookers that went missing. That's what people would say. Probably police officers, investigators, just some prostitute went missing. Some were missing for years before they were on the public's radar. People didn't regard them as, wait a minute, this is someone's daughter. This is a human being. Their families had to beg law enforcement to even open a missing persons file. There was no task force. There was no urgency. That is, not until the bodies started piling up. And the killer, he counted on that. He targeted women he believed wouldn't be missed because he knew the system would look right through them, turn a blind eye. Bottom of the priority list, if it even made the list. In many ways, these women were victims of two predators. The man who allegedly killed them and a society that stalled on seeking justice in their names. After the Gilgo Four were discovered in December 2010, police ramped up their search along Ocean Parkway, and they continued to make disturbing discoveries. In early 2011, additional human remains were found, several bodies left in a partial or skeletal state, further suggesting they had been there years earlier. We're talking about sick and twisted. Jessica Taylor, 20-year-old escort from New York, body parts found years apart and miles apart. Her torso found in Manorville, Long Island, July 2003. Skull and limbs years later in March 2011, Gilgo Beach. Valerie Mack, formerly known as Jane Doe No. 6, a 24-year-old woman from New Jersey, last seen late spring, early summer 2000. Her partial remains found in the year 2000. Torso also found in Manorville. and again her skull and other remains in April 2011 near Gilgo. So note similar dismemberment and disposal as Jessica Taylor. Peaches, unidentified woman nicknamed Peaches because of a peach tattoo on her torso. Remains found all the way back in 1997. Her torso was found in Hampstead Lake State Park. Her skull was found in April 2011 near Gilgo, believed to be the mother of the toddler found nearby. Baby doe, female toddler, believed to be Peach's daughter. Estimated death was around 1997, like her mother. Remains found April 2011 near Gilgo Beach. Then there was Fire Island Jane Doe, aka Jane Doe number 7, would later be identified as Karen Vergata, a 34-year-old woman from Manhattan who vanished around Valentine's Day in 1996. At that time, she was believed to be working as an escort, living in the heart of Hell's Kitchen. In April of '96, her legs and feet were found on Fire Island, leading her to be known as Fire Island Jane Doe. In April of '11, her skull was discovered near Gilgo Beach, close to Gilgo Beach. DNA testing later confirmed that both sets of remains belonged to the same individual. Then there was an Asian male, unidentified. The victim, known as Asian Doe, was a young biological male believed to be of Southeast Asian descent and estimated to be between 17 and 23 years old. His partial remains were discovered near Gilgo Beach, April 2011. He was found wearing women's clothing, including some designer items, leading investigators to believe he may have identified as female or presented in a feminine manner. Authorities suspect that he was a sex worker who died from blunt force trauma and that the killing likely occurred prior to '06. The bodies may have continued to surface along Gilgo Beach, but the investigation did not surge forward. In fact, it seemed stalled. Behind the scenes with authorities, chaos. Just pure chaos, turf wars, finger pointing, and a glaring refusal to collaborate. At the center of the drama, Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke, who notoriously shut out the FBI for years. A move some allege was done in an effort to hide the metaphorical skeletons in his closet. That suspicion was later vindicated when Burke was sentenced to federal prison himself for violently assaulting a suspect and orchestrating a brazen cover-up. For far too long, corruption seemed to poison any chance of justice. It wasn't until February of 2022, more than a decade after the first grisly body discovery, that a new task force was finally formed, bringing together local law enforcement, state police, and the FBI in a renewed effort to crack the case wide open. And it would take years before a suspect's name would finally emerge from the shadows. Rex Heuermann. Remember that name. For over a decade, the Gilgo Beach murders baffled the public and investigators alike, with a trail that went ice cold. Then, a staggering 13 years later, a suspect emerged. And the questions surrounding his alleged involvement and just how many victims he may have allegedly claimed only grew. How could someone so unassuming be accused of something so unspeakable? And what do his alleged crimes reveal about the darkness that can hide in plain sight? And let's not forget, what about Shannan Gilbert, the young woman whose disappearance first ignited this case? What really happened to her? Well, that's coming up next, as is some more insight and understanding about who does this kind of crime and what sets them off. All of that on the next episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to Mystery and Murder Analysis by Dr. Phil, available on all podcast players and YouTube. Click that button to subscribe and follow so you do not miss an episode.